National Asset Construction Company Limited, or NARCL, was set up with a strategic initiative to clean up the legacy stressed assets with an exposure of 500 crore rupees and above in the Indian banking system. NARCL, commonly known as Bad Bank, was incorporated in July 2021 with a majority stake held by public sector banks or PSBs and Canara Bank being the sponsor. However, the progress of NARCL in resolving stress assets has been slow. Data shared by the Finance Ministry in Parliament showed 10 PSBs have transferred non-performing assets or NPAs worth over 11,617 crore rupees to NARCL till November 2023. NARCL acquired its first loan in January 2023. These 10 PSBs had NPAs amounting to 3.77 trillion rupees as of 30th September 2023. The security receipts issued by NARCL to banks are backed by government guarantee. In the last week of December, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman highlighted the slow progress and called for great coordination between banks to expedite the onboarding of stressed accounts. Shortly after the FM's meeting, NARCL Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Natarajan Sundar resigned. Canara Bank Chief General Manager P. Santosh was deputed to lead NARCL after the resignation of Sundar. One of the reasons cited for the slow progress of NARCL was that the offers it made were lower than the liquidation value of the stressed assets in most cases. PSB officials said there were valuation issues on the offers made by NARCL and they expected a better price.
Now, what may happen is that on each of those assets, the bank has its own view. Therefore, they have an understanding of the borrower and they also have an understanding of how much they can recover from out of the, even when they've gone into an NPA account, let's say. The second important thing that the banks have is that they also have the book value of that particular exposure, the interest pending, that is the interest outstanding, and then they also have the provisioning that they may have carried out. Now, all this really helps the bank in taking a guidance on the value at which the transaction has to happen. If anybody, NARCL or any other organization, offers them a less price, if there is no agreement on the valuation on both the sides, then there is no buyer, there is no seller. The transaction doesn't take place, basically. So I suppose that could be one of the larger factors, most critical factors why, let's say, assets are not getting transferred to NARCL.
There were other reasons why asset acquisition was slow. Many assets that were identified for sale to NARCL were not even referred to the bad bank. Sources said initially 2 trillion crore rupees worth of accounts were identified, of which 76,000 crore rupees was never referred for the NARCL process. A significant amount was then resolved by the banks themselves. So the pool itself came down below 1 trillion rupees. Historically, PSBs have sold the least amount of NPAs to asset reconstruction companies, Reserve Bank of India data shows. In 2022-23, the sale of NPAs to ARCs shot up to 9.7% of the previous year's stock of scheduled commercial banks' gross NPAs as compared with only 3.2% in 2021-22. Mainly due to loans sold to NARCL, the RBI observed in its Trend and Progress report for 2022-23. While the private banks sold around 30% of the previous year's gross NPAs in 2022-23, the share of PSBs was less than 5%. Since 2015-16, according to RBI data, PSBs sold much fewer NPAs to ARCs than their private sector peers. In each of the last 7 years, PSBs sold less than 5% of the previous year's NPAs to ARCs. The reason for PSB's reluctance to sell NPAs is the fear of investigative agencies probing deals in case the price shoots up after such a sale. PSBs come under the ambit of investigative agencies unlike the private sector banks. So, how can NARCL's challenge be tackled?
To my mind, I think it's already a smooth process. If we try and smoothen it any further, then there may be questions, that may come up saying that, look, are you passing the benefit which was sitting on the bank's books to NARCL, for instance. So yes, there is a certain amount of push from the ministry to do the right thing. But that ministry push, for instance, cannot really manifest itself into a wrong valuation at either side, basically. Otherwise, either side will remain, will have a doubt, saying the deal was actually done properly or otherwise, basically. And it flouts the rules of governance also then.
For now, there doesn't seem to be a perfect solution to the challenges faced by NARCL regarding its slow onboarding of stressed accounts.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
I am the blue of the limitless sky. I am the inspiration that led success soar high. I will achieve, I will fly high. I am the I in SBI.
I'm backed by the nation's trusted bank, SBI, the banker to every Indian.